Okay, friends, welcome to our new online Bible study, going through the Gospel of John, which will accompany a reading plan where we're going to read slowly through the Gospel of John. If you don't have all that information, go to hpmc.org/Bible, the reading plan, some supplementary stuff, links to future videos. All of this will be right there. So we're going to read through the Gospel of John with an eye towards understanding more about who Jesus was and what it looks like to follow Jesus today. So today, on this first day, what I want to do is give you a brief overview of the Gospel of John. You'll find more stuff in that supplementary material, and then talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about this week. So turn now to John chapter 20, verse 30 and 35, right near the end of John. As you're turning there, here's a quick little overview, just a couple things to know about the Gospel of John. There are 4 accounts of Jesus' life in the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and then John. First 3, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, you may have heard of as the Synoptic Gospels. Those 3 are very similar in many ways. John is very different. There are lots of ways to understand that. Here's one kind of rough way to understand it. If you wanted to tell a story from history, just pick maybe somebody's life, and you wanted to do that in film form, there are a couple of ways you could do that. You could create a documentary. It kind of presents the facts and goes through things in a real linear way. You know what a documentary feels like. Or you could create like a bioepic, you know what I mean? With a script that emphasizes certain parts of the story over other parts of the story. And at the end of the day, the documentary and the bioepic are both true, but they tell the story in very, very different ways. The Gospel of John is overt in saying, I picked certain things to share, and covert, not in a hiding it kind of way, just doesn't say it directly, in that he emphasizes certain things over other things. It's no less true than the others. It just presents the truth in a different way with a particular purpose. Look at that verse I just asked you to turn to. Chapter 20, verse 30. Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples. He's overtly saying, the author is, I'm not telling you everything that Jesus did. He later says, if I did, there wouldn't be enough books to tell you about it. I had to pick what to and not to tell you about. There are many things which are not recorded in this book, but these are written, and here's the purpose. I've written it in this way. I've included these things for this purpose. Now that you finished it, I want to tell you what the purpose is. That you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah. I've written that you may believe. We'll talk more about what it means to believe later on. That Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God. And that by believing you may have life in his name. Life doesn't just mean your heart's beating and your lungs are breathing. It means like experiencing the fullness of life. He says that I have written this book for this purpose, and I've written it in this way for this purpose. The Gospel of John is like this amazing bioepic that presents the story of who Jesus is in a way that is true and in a way that is really compelling, that drives us towards believing in him and experiencing life. And it's like a bioepic that's like one of those, independent films that kind of makes sense on the surface, but you just know there's deeper stuff here. What we hope to do in this Bible study is to show you some of the things that maybe you don't see right on the surface, but that are underneath it. We want to uncover some of those things for us. So this week, we're going to spend our whole week just in the first 18 verses, which is called the prologue. It's like the overture. It begins to present some of the themes that we're going to learn more and more about through the next 21 chapters. So what I'm going to encourage you to do today is just to read those 18 verses, and read them pretty slow. Maybe even read them a couple of times, and just begin to ask some questions. Begin to make some notes about things here that maybe you do think you understand and that excite you. Make some notes about that, and also make some notes about some things that you just think, I don't know what that means. So read it and look for some themes, some things that you want to know more about. Because if you have questions here, the odds are that as we move forward in our reading, that John's going to answer some of those questions that you have. And the next 4 days of this week, we're going to talk about some of the more nuanced details of what's happening in these first 18 verses. I am glad you are on this journey. we're going to get to know who Jesus is better. And we're going to learn more and more about what it looks like to follow him today. God bless you, friends. Keep with your reading, and we'll see you tomorrow.